Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Liz Owino. This is so exciting. I think this is TGIS week 3 and wow. You know that sound? I feel so fulfilled inside here. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for rocking with us. This week's episode, I wanted to talk about a conversation that I've been having with my friends for a couple of years now. And it's, am I adult enough? Because I literally had this conversation this week. I was also thinking about it and I'm like, what do adults do? Like, what are they supposed to do? Because I feel like the marking scheme that was there when maybe my parents were growing up and stuff like that has completely changed. Because if I think about it, in 2020, when there was COVID, after that, nothing is the same. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's obviously going to continue changing. And the question is, what makes you an adult? How do you dress up to look like an adult? How do you talk to look like an adult? Like, I just don't know. There's so many questions I'm trying to figure out every single day. And every single time I try to figure it out, I feel like, am I really an adult? There's something that my teacher always tells me, like, in as much as you're striving for your goals, in as much as you're working towards a particular vision, right? Always remember that you need to be present. And I say that because I'm a very big visionary. Like, when it comes to making plans, making goals, dotting your I's and crossing your T's and everything, I'm good with that. But like, I suck at being present, like reminding myself that like I'm actually 24. I don't know if you ever find the balance. I feel like it's just one of those things that you wake up in the morning and you do what you gotta do and you move on. At the same time, it's like, how do I be Liz, the 24-year-old, and also fit into people's perception or expectations of what I'm supposed to do? You get what I mean? Because I think most of the time when you look at the people that are growing up right now, we mostly hear that, quote unquote, we are a very doomed generation. And it's like, not really. Because I feel like we are very self-aware. We know what we want and people do what they want. And I think that's where the problem comes in. Because it's like, before, I feel like, based off of what I've read and what I've understood, is that people used to do stuff for survival. And it comes to a certain point where it's like, when do you stop surviving? I listened to a guy, his name is Kennedy Akizie. He basically talks about how as a generation, we need to get to the point where we are not only striving to survive, but to create change. Because if we're not careful, the cycle will continue or it might actually get worse. Because now it's like the economy is going down. Education has changed. The job market is different. Every single month, even AI is here. So like, ChatGPT was like, some people that literally celebrate and they're like, oh guys, I graduated thanks to ChatGPT and stuff like that. And it's like, how do I participate in the world to do something that's significant? And it's funny because actually it's not funny, because these are questions that people ask themselves on a day-to-day basis. And it's like, where do I contribute? Like, where do I fit in the whole map of the world? What do I, as Liz Owino, contribute? Because at the end of the day, I usually tell people you've not succeeded in life until somebody outside of your family has benefited from what you're doing. So if your family is like your nucleated family or maybe extended family are the only people that contribute from what you've done, in my perspective, you've not succeeded, because there are thousands and thousands of people outside there that you could impact. So there's more that you can do. And that is my perception. In very many ways, balancing being present, like doing what 24-year-olds do, or maybe 19-year-olds or 18-year-olds in a world like today where the expectations are so high. Once you come out of uni, you need to immediately get a job, and then no one actually gives you like the tips to actually say like, okay, this is how you apply for a job, this is how you alter your CV. Like, it's so different, and the pressure, like I'm trying to breathe, bro. And it's like, especially when I was in uni, because I worked for my whole uni life. First year, I worked as, I think, in a restaurant, basically doing the service industry and everything. Second year, I worked as a trainee data analyst. And then my third year, I worked as a data protection officer. And in all of that, it had its different change. Like, for example, that was when I started waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning. And everybody would ask me, how do you do that? And I was like, it was hard. Like, it was hard. And sometimes I feel like it's very difficult for people to applaud what you're doing, and very easy for people to criticize what you're not doing according to their understanding. And I say that because one of the things I've learned, especially from my life and the lives of people that have surrounded me, and even the people that I mentor, is like, you can't force someone into evolution. You can't force someone into change. You have to show them how to do it. It's like taking a donkey to the well and forcing it to drink water. It has to make the choice. And when it doesn't make the choice, you can't force it. You just have to you just have to be patient, and you just have to sit still. Just the understanding that, like, there is no marking scheme. There is absolutely no marking scheme towards this life thing. That gives me so much solace, because I'm like, even you, that whatever it is you're telling me, that may be true according to your book. If I read someone else's script, they're going to be telling me something different. And they do say something different. That's why books come out, and they keep on coming out. How to become rich, how to become that, how to do this, how to do this, how to... Self-improvement will never finish, because the ways are so many. In that book, there is something new that you will learn. And it's simply because of how a person has gone through life. And I think the reconciliation of, am I really an adult? Or how can I be in the present and also think about the future? How can I be a 24-year-old or a 19-year-old or a 30-year-old and also think of what comes next? Is the understanding that, like, I always say, once you realize that whatever it is you're trying to do will come to pass, one, it gives you so much comfort, because it's like, I could rest, I could chill, I could be a human being, and everything will work out. Because now the economy, how is it possible that when I'm an adult is when the economy is crashing? Y'all couldn't have chosen another time? Like, no. In as much as, like, life is really difficult, and there are some people that don't have the privilege to actually, say that they're living in the present. I won't ignore the fact that there are people that take care of their families. There's some people that study and they work so they can pay bills at home. There's some people, the kids and also the breadwinners of the family. There are, like, nuances to people's stories I can't be ignorant about. But at the end of the day, I think it's just that sometimes we need to give ourselves a pat in the back. You are actually doing something. I feel like we applaud the 1%, and we don't really think of the other small things. We have normalized, or maybe we have glorified the really big things. And while that is great, I think it sucks out the beauty of life, because I say life is an experience. If you try as much as you can to hold on to certain things, you may never really get to experience life for what it is. Me being present is like right now where I'm sitting, recognizing that, like, it's sunny, and being aware of my emotions. What do I feel at this particular time? So self-awareness plays a really, 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 really important part when it comes to you being present and also working to get to the place that you want to get to. And I listened to this podcast as well called Nice and Neat, the podcast, where they were talking about how there's seasons in life, just like there is summer, winter, spring, and autumn. In life, as human beings, we have seasons, and as a Christian, you get the seasons where you reap and some that you sow. It's kind of funny when us as human beings get to certain seasons and we are shocked. Like, for me, it's like, you're shocked. Why are you shocked? Because it's like, it's expected. And when you blind yourself and think that you're above, human nature, it's like, are you okay? In the same way, they seasons. It's the same way as human beings is how we function. And if you're not aware of the fact that we also have seasons, it's going to be very difficult for you to understand who you are and where you stand and how you contribute to the world and even to your environment as a person. I think Alan Watts is the one that says it. He talks really, really, really well about this principle of being present, about letting things be. Because if you try, the more you try, the more it doesn't work. One of the things I read from Think and Grow Rich was being able to move your subconscious thoughts into your conscious mind. And I think that is a very, very hard and very, very important. And I say that because sometimes you find that you could be acting out of impulse, or you're just not rational. Like, you just move through life. Like, I want to state Just because the economy is falling, that does not give you an excuse to be incompetent, to be lazy, to complain all the time. In every single moment, there is always an opportunity for you to make something out of nothing. And I completely believe in that. There's something I call the element of choice. There is always a choice. You always have a choice to make. And just because you don't see it now, that doesn't mean that it's not there. Take a breath. Go out, go for a walk. Just because you go out for like a 15-minute walk, that doesn't mean that the whole world is gonna come crashing down. Maybe you could get something. Yeah, that brings me back to my points. I digressed. How we can reconcile being present and also working for the future. This, like, I think I'm not even doing this video justice because it's actually a very heavy topic. Is the awareness that every single day you're getting closer and closer to the person you want to become. And also the awareness of where you stand as a person. Now, the next question would be, how does one get to that kind of awareness? There are different practices. I would say there's meditation, other people would call it quiet time. There's journaling, there's exercise. I think the synchronization of the mind, body, and soul is really important when it comes to things like this. Because then you can actually, tell, where am I? What am I doing? Who am I engaging with? How is this harmful to me? How is this beneficial to me? The key and secret ingredient behind all of this is being honest. We fear ourselves. I said this last episode. I fear myself. I'm not gonna lie. I fear myself. Most of the time, I'm scared that if I do this, people will know that I'm good at that, and then now they will, once they find out about that, what are they gonna think about me? I fear people getting to know me. The best way to answer am I adult enough is by saying I don't think it is wise to form or embody or conform actually to a certain way or mannerism of acting based off of how the world or the society portrays it. Because sometimes when people say you should be acting like that, I said, who said it? Like who? Like, I tend to ask a lot of questions because I want to understand, like, what made you think that is right? What made you think that that's the best way to go about things? Give me evidence. And if it works out, I also have to test it. Because I think one of the things that we do these days is you see something, or I see something on social media, I see this is working for so and so and so, and I jump on that wagon and I don't even ask myself, like, am I okay with that? I listened to an episode, actually a whole series from The Noisy World by Omina, and one of my friends there, shout out to Atida, she was basically talking about how we need to unlearn stuff from our past, from what we've learned from different people. Sometimes it's our parents, sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that, because sometimes that particular philosophy or that particular way of living is what is stopping you from being the person that you're supposed to be. I'm not saying that your parents are not right. I'm just saying that sometimes we carry on certain beliefs that limit us from getting to a certain point. I think just that understanding that, like, I could also be my own person. Yes, my parents instilled values in me that are very beneficial, and that doesn't mean that you need to discard that. You just have to vet it. Is this working for me? Is this not? Because that was one thing I had to do when I was in Mauritius. I had to ask myself, why do I eat this? It's as simple as that. Why am I afraid of that? Why do I do that? And I think also when you stay around people, the more you stay around community, is the more now you start to notice that, oh, those people do that. Or, oh, those people do that. I think the best example I would give is how to make chapati, right? I learned from YouTube. So how I used to make it was completely different from how my friend makes it. And then I saw how my grandma makes it, and I was like, ooh, that is very nice. I picked up one thing, not the whole thing, one thing out of that, and I added it to how I used to make it. And then I saw how my friend does it, and I'm like, ooh, that makes it better. Picked it up. And then I saw another guy on TikTok that made chapati. He added yeast, and I was like, I see what you're doing there. And I added it. What I'm basically trying to say with that example is the chapati that I used to make, it was actually really good. And that is the same way you should see what maybe your parents instilled inside of you, whoever it is that was raising you. It was really good according to their abilities. And even if it wasn't, you can still change that. I always tell people, you have a choice. I would urge you to research on Alan Watts and Rick Rubin. They are perfect people to listen to, especially when it comes to this navigating thing. And I just want to say, Whatever it is that you're doing, whether you like it, whether you don't like it, whether it's working, whether it's not working, you are doing a great job. Until you got to this point, it means there's something significant that you're doing. And believe in yourself, try and think about yourself, put yourself first. Like always, always. If you don't do that, you will conform to every single thing that you see. And especially in the age that we are in with social media, child, if you don't have a standard of how you want to live your life, they will nicely define it for you. And just not just social media, because people, every single person keeps on blaming social media, but no, it even happened in the olden days. It's not a new thing. It's just something that has always been there. It's been in the Bible, all of that stuff. Why is it that there's a whole scripture that talks about it? Do not conform to the ways of the world, but be transformed. You see, transformed. So transformation starts from within. And are you adult enough? If you're an adult, yes. Yeah. According to your own set standard, because just because you put a stern face, that doesn't make you an adult. What you do is what makes you an adult. How you handle responsibilities is what makes you an adult. How you take matters, the good and the bad is what makes you an adult. How you talk to other people is what makes you an adult. Adulting is all about maturity. You'll meet people that are 30 years and above, and chill. They will shock you. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope I wasn't just rambling. I hope you gained something out of it, and I hope this is something that sheds light into this particular topic. I'll see you guys next week. Like, comment, subscribe, and listen to the goodies that come with the It Tribe. There's a podcast that came out this past week. I love you guys. See you guys next week. Ciao.